This is News Bits on Fuxion TV. Here are the headlines. Central African Republic's new leader orders security crackdown. Equatorial Guinea expels illegal Cameroonians. Digital switchover presents a challenge in Cameroon. Nigeria signs anti-homosexual bill into law. Egypt votes to amend constitution. These and more when we return. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to News Bits on Fuxion TV. I'm Nike Roberts. Hundreds of Cameroonians have been forcefully expelled from neighboring Equatorial Guinea for being in the country illegally. Last year, Central African Economic and Monetary Community, CEMAC, heads of state agreed to cancel visa requirements and to begin issuing CEMAC biometric passports in August in order to promote better regional economic integration between Cameroon, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, the Central African Republic, Gabon, and Congo-Brazzaville. But according to Deco de Marcel, a Cameroonian who was deported from Equatorial Guinea, as he told VOA, the new document was useless. The border town of Campo in southwestern Cameroon has seen hundreds of Cameroonians returning from Equatorial Guinea in recent weeks after they were forcefully expelled. A week after warring forces in South Sudan began direct talks in Ethiopia aiming at a ceasefire, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has condemned anti- and pro-government forces for stealing food and vehicles used by the humanitarian community. In a statement issued on Tuesday, his spokesperson said Ban was alarmed by the rising number of fatalities resulting from the continuing fighting in South Sudan and reiterated those responsible for attacks against civilians, humanitarian workers, and UN personnel will be held accountable. Nearly 200,000 people have been displaced in the conflict, which has taken on ethnic undertones. The president, Salva Kiir, is from the majority Dinka community, while former Vice President Riek Machar is from the Nuer group. At least 1,000 people have been killed since violence erupted last December. On Saturday, about 250 women and children who were fleeing the fighting drowned when an overloaded ferry overturned on a river near Malakal. With the deadline for a global switch from analog to digital technology looming, Cameroon is struggling with the challenges of this digital migration. Experts do agree that the benefits of digital technology are numerous, the sharper and brighter pictures and better audio, giving an altogether total viewing experience. Switchover experts in Cameroon, working in concert with its National Commission on Digital Switchover, warn of crippling challenges ahead. Table Matthias, a digital switchover expert, sounded a note of warning, saying that as old TVs will no longer be able to pick up the signals, the population is supposed to be informed and well educated about the process. He said that an old person in the village somewhere one morning will be unable to tune to a station because the switchover is already here. Mr. Table Matthias further said citizens must start saving to buy the new sets because the decision taken by the International Telecommunications Union (ITU) to switch over by June 2015 cannot be reversed, and those countries that fail to switch will not be able to receive international or local signals. Central African Republic's new interim leader, Alexandre Ferdinand Nguyendet, has ordered the deployment of an additional 400 troops to the capital Bangui on Monday, with instructions to shoot troublemakers at point-blank range, in a bid to end months of religious violence. The head of the National Transitional Council, CNT, has taken over the presidency until a new leader is chosen this month. More than 1,000 people have died in sectarian violence, which erupted when Seleka rebels seized power in March last year and Michel Djotodia became the country's first Muslim leader. Mr. Djotodia stepped down last Friday under intense pressure. Sporadic violence has continued despite the presence of 1,600 French troops and 4,000 African Union peacekeepers. Speaking to the BBC in the capital Bangui, John Ging of the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said the country was in a mega crisis, and he called for a huge international effort to tackle the situation. He further said the wanton destruction was hard to conceive, and there was a huge task ahead for the whole community, both domestically and internationally, to help the people of this country to rebuild their lives. Jamaican Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has charged regional players in the tourism sector to be bold and innovative. She charged them, saying, "There is competition today. If you fear it, you will not survive tomorrow. We cannot fear competition," said Simpson Miller. The Prime Minister was addressing the opening ceremony of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Caribbean Travel Marketplace 2014 at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James on Sunday. Simpson Miller further challenged Caribbean tourism interests to remain on the cutting edge as the Latin American tourism establishments are rapidly embracing that approach. She recommended that players in the tourism industry move to establish trade linkages with other business sectors across the region. She said there is enormous potential within our region to supply this sector's collective needs. Caribbean Travel Marketplace 2014 is the premier tourism marketing event that serves as a platform to showcase Jamaica's tourism product. It is the largest and most important business-to-business marketing event for the region's hospitality industry. More than 1,200 delegates from over 26 countries in North America, South America, and Europe attended the trade show. A bill banning gay marriage and same-sex partnerships in Nigeria has been signed into law by the President, Goodluck Jonathan, despite international pressure not to do so. Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the President, Dr. Ruben Abati Monday, confirmed the signing of the bill, whose passage had triggered international outrage over Nigeria's bid to criminalize homosexuality. Dr. Abati said Jonathan signed off on the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Bill 2013 because it was consistent with the attitudes of most Nigerians towards homosexuality, confirming that more than 90% of Nigerians are opposed to same-sex marriage, further saying that this law is made for our people and what the government has done is consistent with the preference of its environment. Amnesty International had urged Jonathan to reject the bill, calling it discriminatory and warning of catastrophic consequences for Nigeria's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. Under the terms of the law, anyone who enters into a same-sex marriage or civil union can be sentenced to 14 years in prison. The law also makes provisions for sanctions against anyone who registers, operates, or participates in gay clubs, societies, and organizations, or who directly or indirectly makes a public show of a same-sex relationship. Such a person could be jailed for up to 10 years. Only a marriage contract between a man and a woman shall be recognized as valid in Nigeria, the law states. The United Kingdom has pledged $500,000 economic community dollars in immediate support to St. Lucia to assist in recovery efforts following the Christmas storm that devastated the island. In addition, Taiwan's ambassador to St. Lucia, James Chang, last Monday presented a check for $200,000 to Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony for humanitarian assistance in the aftermath of the storm. Torrential rains on Christmas Eve with 15 inches falling in 24 hours led to massive floods and landslides that washed through St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, and Dominica. 8 people in St. Vincent and 5 in St. Lucia were reported to have died. The UK money will be made available to UNDP to assist in agreed recovery efforts in St. Lucia. Clashes between police and protesters loyal to former President Mohamed Morsi have left at least 11 people dead on the first day of a vote on Egypt's new constitution. The clashes began after Egyptians began voting on the new charter that represents a turning point put in place since the ouster of Morsi last July. Shortly before polls opened, an explosion struck a Cairo courthouse, damaging its frontage and shattering windows in nearby buildings, but causing no casualties in the densely populated neighborhood of Imbaba, a Brotherhood stronghold. Despite the concerns over violence, Egyptians formed long lines Tuesday outside polling stations across the country. Passage of the Constitution will establish a timetable for holding presidential and parliamentary elections to create a government that will replace the administration that has run the country since last summer and paves the way for a likely presidential run by the nation's top general Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who led the military coup against Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in July. El-Sisi hinted Saturday while speaking at an army seminar in Cairo that he would run for president at the request of the people. The government of Dominica has received the second fixed tranche of funds under €8.46 million financing agreement between Dominica and the European Union. Last Tuesday, Dominica received €2.4 million towards direct budgetary financing under the 10th European Development Fund Multi-Sector General Budget Support Program. As reported on November 19, 2013, the first fixed tranche of €3.2 million was disbursed in 2013 after the fulfillment of general conditions of satisfactory progress of the Growth and Social Protection Strategy. The GSPS is the main tool to foster economic development and poverty reduction in Dominica. Pope Francis will elevate Archbishop Kelvin Felix, the Dominican-born Archbishop Emeritus of Castries, St. Lucia, to the rank of Cardinal during the public consistory in Rome on February 22, 2014, which is the feast of the Chair of St. Peter. This is the first time in the history of the Roman Catholic Church in the region that a member of the episcopate from the Antilles Episcopal Conference, which covers the English, French, and Dutch-speaking Caribbean, will be made a cardinal. The government of St. Lucia acknowledged Felix's sterling contribution to the nation and the region in the area of ecumenism, regional integration, and human development during his 27 years as Archbishop of Castries. Leader of the parliamentary opposition in St. Lucia, Stephenson King, congratulated Felix and noted that it is even more astounding that the ceremony will be held in Rome February 22nd, which is incidentally St. Lucia's Day of Independence. Nigeria saw a major political shakeup in 2013 with the opposition coming together and governors and parliament members defecting in droves from the ruling party People's Democratic Party (PDP). Analysts see serious challenges ahead for President Goodluck Jonathan and his party this year as the country prepares for presidential elections in 2015. A new opposition emerged that is more united and more resolute than anything the country has seen since military rule ended in 1999. This mega party is called the All Progressives Congress, APC, and key figures from both the opposition and the ruling PDP have flocked to it since last July. 5 state governors and 37 members of the lower house of National Assembly recently defected, ending the majority PDP had. In a recent development, the People's Democratic Party National Chairman, Bamanga Tukur, has resigned, and according to reports, his resignation has been accepted by Goodluck Jonathan. Still on PDP, the USA chapter had its first networking event recently in Atlanta, Georgia. We spoke to the Georgia chapter chairperson, Ngozi Orabueze. Take a listen.
We organized an election in Tennessee last year, which was officially recognized by Abuja. And our main focus right now is to work with the president and the office of the president and the Nigerian chapter of PDP to make sure that our goals for 2015 is realized. Based on some of the changes that His Excellency President Goodluck has made in Nigeria, and based on his transformational agenda, and based on his policy of being very open, I think he has done wonderful for the country. You know, knowing very well where we've come from the military dictatorship of many years to a civilian culture, which some of us are just getting used to. I believe he has made the changes to give him the second term to complete some of the tasks he has started.
The National Secretary also spoke to us about the strides the party is making in engaging Nigerians in diaspora.
I believe that we are in the right cause, and with the support of the other members of the party and with the activities that we have planned, especially with the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Jonathan. I believe year 2015 will usher in greater things than what Nigeria has seen. I believe we would be able to further transform Nigeria, make things work that are not quite working as much as we want them to work right now. I mean, any good progress, any good transformation takes time. And the key aspect is to be on the right step. So once you're on the right step, I believe everything else will fall in place nicely.
Here's the USA chapter chairman on the president's chances in the upcoming presidential elections in the country.
Yes, we have seen it because as of now, at least in Maryland, New York and Chicago, and now here in Atlanta and Alabama branch and Oklahoma, we have seen at least people registering. We have seen people from different universities engaging one another, and while in Boston, they are also doing a very good job on that. So yeah, we are seeing progress. PDP as a party is a grassroots political party. It's a party that doesn't care the religion you belong to or your tribe. So it's a national party, unlike other mushroom parties that comes and go, like we call it ACN today, tomorrow is APC, tomorrow is ANPP, tomorrow it can be anything. So it's not a party that any credible person can rely on. But one thing that we should know is that Goodluck Jonathan have not even declared to run. So we'll be waiting for him, but hey, he's the current president under PDP. So if he's in position to run, then he will have the first order of choice. But until he declares that he wants to run, then we know, we know. But as of now, I don't see any party beating PDP in Nigeria in the next 15 to 20 years. It's not possible.
And now let's talk sports. The Portuguese football team Benfica won a league match against arch-rivals Porto for the first time in more than 4 years on Sunday, beating them 2-0 on an emotional afternoon marked by tributes to their former forward Eusebio. Benfica players all wore the name of Eusebio rather than their own on the back of their shirts and had synchronized placards that produced a huge image of the player nicknamed the Black Panther, who died on January 5th, aged 71. There was a minute's silence before the game for the Mozambique-born player who was the top scorer at the 1966 World Cup with 9 goals that helped Portugal reach the semi-finals and inspired Benfica to 11 domestic titles. His spirit was definitely watching over them. Cristiano Ronaldo has won the FIFA Ballon d'Or award for 2013. The Real Madrid forward scored 69 goals in 59 matches during 2013 and helped Portugal secure their place in this year's World Cup finals, taking place in Brazil. Ronaldo, who ended Lionel Messi's 4-year domination of the honor, pulled ahead of Barcelona forward Messi and Bayern Munich winger Frank Ribéry, who placed third. Voting was done by national team captains and coaches plus selected journalists in FIFA's 209 member countries. After picking up the award, an emotional Ronaldo said, "I have no words to describe this moment. Thanks to all my teammates at Real Madrid and the national team. Without all of their efforts, this would not have been possible. I am very happy. It is difficult to win this award." Messi, the only player to win the award on 4 consecutive occasions, said, "I want to congratulate Cristiano because he was the winner and deservedly so." Thanks for joining us on this edition of News Bits on Fuxion TV. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe.